Hi everyone, muted wasn't I? Talking about...
No sound.
Biblios though is the important stuff, talking about how this chair is probably more clear than either of us. So we are here for some Biblios, a brand new entry in the Biblios series, the Roll and Write. It's called Quill and Parchment. There it is. Hopefully. Is it putting a load of lag between us? The sound shouldn't even be muted anymore. When we switch from the starting soon. I thought I'd turned that off. Because it doesn't really need to be muted, unless I tell it to be muted. So, I will record as well. So we've got this for posterity, to put in the archives. Is Marty... Marty has
run away.
Marty's not happy with the Marty Cam at the moment, and he's not here. He's too obsessed with a little line laser that we've got for Midara. That's all he cares about at the moment. He thinks that's going to come out again, and so he's stalking downstairs waiting for it. So, what do we do, Rach? Are you going to teach?
No.
No?
That's not my job.
No, I've got it. Well, we teach as we go, don't we? Hi, Monica. Hi, Ika. Pronounced that right? Steve. Hi, Steve. Can you all hear now? Things are bouncing. Rach, you say something?
Like what?
Well, so I can say something when I'm not saying something, so I can see it bouncing. I think it's bouncing. So you should be loud enough. So here, I wonder if we're almost zoomed in, I think, close enough that you can see it all anyway. I don't know how... Like, I have got zoomed in views so you can see it even clearer than all of this. But, yeah, you can pretty much see it all from that shot, can't you? Hi, Belle. Good morning. Nice to see you.
I feel like I need to move that chair.
Which chair? Well, where can you move it to, though? There's no...
I can see.
I don't think there's going to be any stopping the chair. Stopping the glorious display of games when we make ourselves all big. We're going to play Roll and Write Biblios, which I don't think is going to take very long, really. There's only 8 rounds in it, and the rounds are pretty snappy. It's a roll and write game. It's not not in the kind of meatier sense that, say, Roman Roll and a new game I saw last night called Hadrian's Wall that looks pretty good. We're playing that at some point, Rach. It's enormous. It's got like 2 great big square sheets each for it, and it's like a proper meaty roll and write game. What do you think about that? Not first.
I love roll and writes, but I'm poor at rolling dice.
Yeah, it's not all about what you can get in the highest in this though. So, as always in all of the Biblios games, this is the 3rd one now, and I know it's got some variations. I know it was called Scripts and Scribes originally, and then there's the Biblios series, and then Biblios, the main one, is getting re-released. It's called For the King, something like that. Me and the King, something like that. It's about to be re-released anyway with a couple of tweaks. That's kind of the big main one. Then there's the dice game, and then this is different to that. This is Quill and Parchment, which is a dry wipe roll and write. So what are we doing in this? There are 2 halves of the game, as in all of the Biblios games. In the first half of the game, we're going to be rolling these dice. Some re-rolls, some restrictions on how we can re-roll the dice. But we are going to be trying to earn influence, which we can use later in an auction, like Biblios. There are these book dice that have all the different books on them, the 5 different books, and earning a book by rolling a book, lets you cross off one of these books. If you can get all the way to the top, you can get a points bonus, and then you can start to earn more things if you keep rolling the things you've already finished with. The first person to finish that book gets the most points, of course. And then at the end of the game, if we just zoom in on my sheet a little bit, see this times 3 times 2 times 1 kind of thing. At the end of the game, if you've got the most blue books, say, you will get 3 times how much blue books are worth, which might change as well. At the start of the game, it's 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. But in the second half of the game, we start to introduce this die that, as in other Biblios games, will mess with the values of these dice. The last thing that you can roll is the chapel die. You need to see the whole thing. That's on the book dice as well. And getting a chapel moves you up a step in the chapel here. It can determine some turn order stuff, being the closest to the altar. But also it will earn you points as you go up. See these rows up here. Only one person can get all the way to the top and get 10 points, which is pretty big in this game. What were our scores when we practiced? They were like 50 something. So 10 points from that can be a big chunk of your points. And also these question marks mean that you can roll a die, roll a book die, and get what your result is. So potentially more books, potentially even more chapel movement. The last die is your travel die here. You have this wanderer on your sheet here, and you can see all of these long and winding roads all around him. Depending on how many people you rolled, you get to move that many steps, and you've got a choice right from the start of different paths. So there's a shorter one here that will get you to the city the quickest, but there is a longer one that has got some bonus spaces where you can get some more books, or the question mark, roll a die, and see which book that you get. You get points for the travel man, depending on how many cities he's gone to, but the bonuses might have earned you a load of points as well. So it's points from books, getting to the top first, having the most, and then how much the die is worth. Points from the chapel, points from your man roaming around, points if you manage to get dots on this cross. We might not get to that unless we fill up a column of books, but we'll see later. And points for leftover influence as well. The first half of the game will be earning a load of influence. Second half of the game will be spending it all. And if you've got any left over, it's worth some points as well. We'll get into what happens in the second half of the game when we get to it, I think. Let's just get to the first round of the game. So, you grab all of your dice. Oh, we do also have, is it Cadfael? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. We have the bot monk, who has a bit of a bigger role in the solo game. But in this, he each round is also going to roll 3 book dice in the first half of the game and earn books. And he will also earn dice in the second half of the game. He is basically there to compete with us for racing to the top of these columns and also for those points at the end. So he could potentially have the most and get the 3 times multiplier. You can't just rest of having one of a book and get like second place just because it's a 2-player game. You've got to compete against him a bit as well. So we grab all of our dice, and they are like, you can see here, these proper sharp, chunky wooden dice. You get all of your dice and just roll them once. And now you have some options, because you've got 2 rerolls, but you are restricted in how you can reroll these dice. You can either, and we've got to do this kind of simultaneously, we'll have to like do it like this, so you can see, I guess, or you can see this, can't you? You either put your hand like this, that means I'm happy with my dice, I'm not rerolling, or you can say I'm rerolling all of my dice, hold your hand out, or you can re-roll one of your dice by pointing to the die that you want to re-roll. So you're restricted. If there are just like, if you've got half really good and half really bad, you've got to either abandon all your good ones and just re-risk rolling them all again, or just pick the one you're least happy with and re-roll. So Rach there's in quite a nice position with influence, because you always want as much influence as possible. Even if you're not going to spend it all in the auction at the end, it's going to be useful to have. I've not done so well here. And the values of the books might change, but at the moment, I've got a lot of red that I could be getting. Oh, great, red's the worst colour to be getting. I could get a couple of travel points, get a move on the chapel a bit. So we decide. Have you decided, Rach, what you're going to do? Have you decided?
Yeah.
You're happy with yours?
Yeah.
I'm going to re-roll all of them. So you've got up to 2 re-roll opportunities. So I'm taking one of mine to reroll everything. I think I'm a bit better there. Pink's worth 1 more point. Influence is okay, 9. It could be better. But I think I'm going to reroll travel, because 1 man is the worst thing you can roll on this die. There is still 1 step of movement, but it could get you a book as well. So I'm just going to point, but Rach is finished, so it doesn't really matter. 2 men, okay. So now, and we can roll his dice to see what he's getting to. He doesn't bother with rerolls or anything like that. He is just earning some books. So he gets a blue one, a green one, and a chapel. So we do the chapel afterwards. The chapel is a different step after we've spent all of our other dice. So you can see, if we zoom in on mine here, there are also negative points on each of the books too. And that is what you're going to lose if you haven't done that. If you haven't got a single blue book, you're going to lose 3 points. But really, you're probably going to compete for those books because they're worth the most points. So on mine, and Rach will be doing this too, first thing is your influence. Just tot it up. So I've got 9 in the first round, and I just write 9 in that box there. And Rach has got herself 11. The other boxes are for, we'll write round 2s in there, then we'll total them, on and on until we get to the second half of the game when we'll start to spend and subtract what we have spent. So that's gone. Then we have our actions, basically, our book and travel dice. So with mine, I have just got 2 pinks and a grey, so I can just cross those off. Nothing else to do with them. And then I have my travel, so I decide now, do I want to just go the shortcut, try and get the cities as quickly as possible, and just grab the points from there? Or what I'm going to do, I think, is try and get some bonuses. So the bonuses are steps as well that you have to spend to get on there. So I haven't earned anything yet, but the next travel point I get will put me onto a bonus there. And that's all of my dice spent. Rach, what are you doing?
Hello. I've crossed off my books. Gone 2 steps on there, and then I've got a chapel dice.
Oh yeah, so
I'm going to go sit on a pew.
We go on the chapel now. So the person furthest away from the altar gets to go first, which is actually the bot. He is our symbols, by the way. You can see on the corner of our sheets, I am the line, Rach is the circle, and the bot is the square. So he's furthest away. It's highest up first, and then furthest to the left is closest. And it goes... it should just be random after we've played it a couple of times now. But he goes first, so he is still closest to the top. So it would only make a difference if he competes just as much as us, and he could potentially get to the top first and stop us from getting there. So that's that done. Rach is next. And that is round 1. That's a whole round of the game done. So we gather our dice back together, get ready for another roll of them. This is, by the way, it's is it 2 to 4 players that it goes up to? I think. Does it say on the back of the box, Rach? It's not. What I'm trying to say is, it's not a roll and write where you could just download a sheet and as many people as possible could play. Like, say, Welcome to 1 to 4 players. It's got a special solo mode as well. So there is my main roll. So what have I got? Oh, I've got 3 steps, which is fantastic, and I want to keep a variety of books. But look at that influence. 2 influence for an entire round. Right, Rach, have you decided what you're going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to re-roll them all.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm going to give up those 3 steps to try and get some influence at least. And it's not particularly... You could get through the game without influence. You're always going to get something in the auction. It's just... So that's a bit better. That helps me on green, which no one else has really gone for yet. It's nice to really go for a particular colour, though, so you can try and race up it. I don't feel like I want to throw it all away again. Have you decided, Rach?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just re-roll this 2 and see if I can get some more influence. 1! Okay. So I have got 3 whole influence for that. I've never had so little. And what have I got? I've got a couple of... In my books, I've got 2 greens and a blue that I can jot down. So it's 3 points, essentially, for just getting that blue book. And then I've got a couple of greens to be going on with. 3 movement, though, I'm happy with, because I can go grey bonus, and then a normal step, and then a question mark bonus, which means roll a book die and get that. It's another blue. And that's everything from me spent, I think. Rach, are you all spent up?
Yeah. I thought you were on the big screen. I did my grey, I did all my dice. So I crossed off my -3, and I crossed off a -2. And I moved 2 on
Great.
there.
And we haven't done the bot, actually. So we need to see what he's doing. He is going straight into red now and a pink. So he's winning red currently. But not a lot else. So that's round 2. I could probably... Is it big enough for everyone to see this? I know that we're on a bit of a smaller... this is a small window inside the streaming program. But is it big enough to stay out in this zoomed out view? Or would you prefer the zoomed in player cams? Round 3. Oh, terrible influence. Oh, I could get a couple of chapel movements. Couple of steps would get me to a city. Terrible influence again, though. And do I care that much about grey? Have you decided, Rach? Rach got 11 influence right there. Have you decided?
Yeah.
Right, it's just re-rolling 1. I'm going to re-roll them all. I'm going to risk it. There's a furry friend roaming between our feet. Maybe the Marty Cam will be active at some point. So I've got 9 influence there. Still just a kind of smattering of different colours. That I would just like loads of one colour so I can just zoom straight up everything. You can see all right when you're watching on a phone. In the zoomed out view, I'll keep it on that then, because then you can always see what everyone's doing. Oh, Marty's on my chair.
He's rebelling and he's going on the wrong chair.
He's always on my chair though. Whenever I'm not in it. Okay, have you decided, Rach?
Yeah.
I'm gonna re-roll.
No, I didn't want to roll them.
Right, should we rolling them all again? My middle cross... Oh, that's from our practice game last night. Thanks, Steve. That shouldn't be crossed off. I'm re-rolling just my single... so I've got 2 movement. That's an improvement, isn't it? So... The cross, by the way, is when you can't use a die, either because you've moved to the last city with your travel, or you have filled up that column of a particular colour, you then get the option of, if you can't use a die, you can either have 1 step of travel, or you can mark off a space on this cross, which is decent actually, because that's 2 points for every one of those dots. So in the city, I don't have a branch off at the moment, it's just 2 up, but I've got 2 points there from getting to my first city. Then I've got 9 influence, so lagging behind. And then I've got a green, so that's taken me off the -1. My first red, so I'll be eligible for some kind of points. And my 3rd pink, and we haven't done...
The question marks just roll, isn't it? And then you get...
Yeah, whenever you get a question mark bonus, just roll the die, get what it says. And, oh dear, dummy is going heavy into red. But it's worth it. That might completely change, but it's worth the fewest points by far right now. Okay, then final round of just pure gaining things without having to spend anything. Ooh, better influence, better movement. Green is okay because I've put some work into green. Rach is almost fully up the grey already. Maybe that's a nice mixture. I don't know. Have you decided, Rach?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sticking. I feel like that's decent.
It's even worse.
1. Oh well, you won't be too far behind. So 10 influence for me. So I'm going into the second phase of the game with 31 influence. Rach is going in with more than that. And then...
So So I've done grey.
So you've completed grey, so 5 isn't available for me if I complete it. But I've kind of just spread out everywhere. So green, red, not quite at the -1 space yet. And then in travel, you see zoomed in a little bit for my splitting off. So I haven't got a choice for the first one still. So I can either shortcut over here, or do I want a pink instead? I think I'm going to shortcut to the city. I'm not there yet, but I'm only 1 space away now. So then, that's everything. Oh, then finally, we need to do his dice. He's got blue.
Did we do his dice last round?
Yeah, I think so. Blue, grey, and chapel. So he would go chapel first. And then I've got a chapel die, so I go to that second row. I haven't got anything from it yet, but this way you start getting your bonuses. So now the game changes. We're into the second half of it. It's got a... Well, I was saying it's got a special name. The phases have got special names. We're now in period 2. So we now have Vigil, which is where we prepare the dice and roll them. And then Prime, where we appeal to the abbot and bid. And then Terse, where we use our dice that we've got. So we basically need 2 book and a travel, 2 book and a travel. And we'll show you at the end of when we finish the game. But all of this stuff, including the cathedral board, has got a B-side with a different way of playing on it. So we get these like this. We need to clear all the other dice out of the game now. So the dice are no longer yours. They are everybody's dice. And you roll each row of them. And this is going to be what we are bidding for. So you've got a red and a green, a couple of movements, and this embellishment die.
I hope you want blue.
This embellishment die lets you increase one of these points values for any of the colours. There's also minus spaces, double plus, a plus and a minus. So if you choose row 1, you get that. If you choose row 2, you can flip either of the book dice into 1 chapel. If you take this one, you get a monk movement. This one isn't it's simulating a 3-player game essentially. But this one would let you re-roll one of the books. So what we need to do now is, first off, we secretly write our bid in this box now. So this is how we're going to start losing influence. So we write our bid in there, and Rachel's is already... Your player board's slipped right down, Rach. Because we're in the way of your player board. So we secretly write our bid in here. And that's how much... The person who has the highest bid gets to pick first. Now, in the 2-player game, he doesn't bid at all, but he's still going to get dice. If the person who wins the auction bid more than double the other person, then they pick theirs first, then they pick for the bot, and then the person who bid less than half gets whatever's left over. But if the loser of the auction bid at least half, then they get to pick straight after, and the bot gets the leftovers. That's the other thing that changes in this. So, Rach, have to do some secret bidding. You can leave it.
One of my favourite mechanics in the game.
Yeah, Rach really doesn't like auctions in games. Do you like it in normal Biblios, though, when you're bidding with coins? It's a bit harder in normal Biblios because you can't get change. So in the first half of the game, we've done this cool card drafting thing. I've never done a playthrough for card Biblios because it would be really hard to do on my own. But yeah, you have to auction with cards that you've earned in the first half of the game that say like 2, 3, 4 coins, and you can't get change, so your bid is restricted by that. So I think
I could see it then. I've already written mine down.
Okay, are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Reveal. Rachel, I know that Rach does not make big bids. I think 4 was her biggest bid last night.
7 was my biggest bid.
Oh, you bid big. You bid big on the very last round, yeah.
I went 3, 4, 5, 7.
So you spend that. It's not about like only the winner spends the money. You spend in whatever you bid. So Rach, I did bid at least half. So Rach is going to pick first. I'm going to pick second, and the bot is going to get whatever's left over. So Rach, what would you like? She wants that embellishment die. She's going to boost the value of grey. Makes sense. I think I want some more movement. Now, there's no difference in the book dice. I could turn one of these to a chapel if I wanted, but I'm not going to do that. So he gets these. He doesn't bother with travelling. He doesn't use the special power or anything. He's just going to get 2 blue, basically. But so am I. And I'm going to get 3 movement because I took it from that row. So I get to the city. And then here. And now I have a choice again. Do I want to carry on and I could get a green bonus? Or do I want the short route? I'm covering that up with my hand, aren't I? Do I want to get a green bonus next, or do I want to take this shorter route straight to this city to try and make sure I get 10 points before the end of the game? Because if I go this way, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be 6 more movement I would need. There are 3 rounds, so it would depend how the dice come out, really. If we roll 1s, there's nothing I can do about that. I think I'm going to go that long way and get a green, because I don't feel like I've got many books. They're just spread out over everything. So that's a round. We then need to stock up the rows again. So top row gets a plus and a minus. The plus and the minus can be on different dice or the same die if you just want to keep things the same. And then in the last row, we've got green, blue, 3 movement. So that's 4 movement down there. So, Rach, get ready with your secret bid.
A lot of pressure to do a good bid. What is a good bid?
Gotta do it live. Could you see from the movement of my?
No, I didn't. I wasn't looking.
Writing what my bid was.
I don't even know.
This is where we would cut to Marty Cam, but we can't. Should just move.
Try and dangle the camera.
Yeah, should have moved my chair in front of your desk.
Okay.
My chair. You don't want to see my chair though. I've got a very lovely chair, but it is absolutely covered in cat fur. Right, are you ready?
Yeah.
5. I bid 8. Now, I really want that 4 scribe movement.
That's why you bid so high.
Yeah. But it's risky, you know, letting someone else just mess with all of the numbers all the time. But that is why I bid so high. And green is good for me. So Rach bid at least half, so she gets to pick second. So I've got blue. Yeah, I've just done that cross too low. I have got that book. And then green. Nearly finished that one. And then 3 movement is nothing. A red, which has crossed off a negative point, and then nothing. And have you done the bots?
No.
Okay, so bots gets a pink and a chapel. He's got a book bonus, so we roll a die for him. He gets a green.
Yeah, I get 3 moved, don't I? 1.
What? You get 2.
I thought I took this one.
No, I took from here. That's how I got 4. Did I do 4?
Remember.
I've done 3, haven't I? Not 4.
1, 2.
Yeah, you've got the plus or minus die.
I'm not used to getting the plus or minus die. That's why I totally
Yeah, I think
forgot.
I got that every time when we practiced it.
Yeah.
But those 10 points, from travel might be vital. Thanks, Cameron. I think I've caught that now. I think. Let me know though, because if I'm doing extra movements.
You were on the green leaf, weren't you? No, you
I only did 3 and then I realised I did 4.
That's what I mean.
But I think there's a bit of a delay. Even on ultra low lag or whatever the setting is, I think there's still a bit of a delay. So I thought like my 5-minute timer trying to make it start when the stream starts, it's no good because it starts at a different time for the people watching. the stream only starts at exactly the right time for me. Right. I haven't done my total.
Oh, I haven't either.
So, that's what we've got. So we've never had this die yet in the entire game. This die is
we
what...
I've
we?
had that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Rachel's used it. This is get 1 movement, and then the star means you can choose a book to gain, but after you have done that, cross off the star above it. If you get a star in future, you can't choose that book again. So, right then, it's time to bid.
So if I get a grey, what do I do with that?
It's either a movement or a cross off a thing on. You get a dot on the cross.
Okay.
So, right. I think I know what I'm going to bid. Alright, the Pikachu dice tray. They're made by... I can't show you right now because I can't move my hands. But they're made by Nice That on Etsy. Annabelle makes amazing dice trays and dice bags. I believe the shop's on holiday at the moment. But when it's back, I'll be getting some more. 6, 4. I wanted that embellishment die. Rach, you get to pick next. So I get green, red. I get 1 movement. And a star.
Turn that to a chapel.
Which I will take in green. And then I got a question mark on the movement, which is another green, which means I can either have my final movement, but no, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to take a cross on the cross. And then I can increase something. So, actually, what's he getting? He's getting a grey and a chapel. I am going... Well, it doesn't matter, does it? You might as well increase... It's no better increasing a 1 to a 2 than a 4 to a 5. You want to increase the one that you're sure that you will be first on. Right. That's that. So there's one last round. Yeah, we did his. So then... we've got 2 movements, another plus. For the final roll. Okay. So, how much do you want to bid, Rach? Get my final bid. Oh, by the way, while we wait for Rach's bid, I'm supposed to say at the start, all of these live streams, everything I make really, is made possible thanks to the Patreon, which you can see in the corner down there, and, if this works, this little robot friend will tell you all about it. You can vote on videos. Yeah, there's a Discord you can join and have a chat there and stuff. But most importantly, you keep all of this happening because that's the most important thing, really. There you go. It's just come up. So if you would like to support, thank you very much, and thank you very much to everyone that supports already. Many on are viewing right now. So I bid 6, 5, because. And a reason I've had 6 as well is because I would like it to, and Rach, probably why Rach bid 5 is so it ends in a nice round number. Because if I'd bid 7, that would have lost me a point essentially, because it's a point for every 4 influence you've got left over. So I won, and I did want... I was thinking the green, because greens are basically 2 points for me. But if I do that... Oh yeah, I need my points for getting to the top of green, yeah. If I'm better off going up here, because I can increase my green die, I think that's what I'm better off doing. I think. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Rach? Grey. Red. 2 movements. I can only spend 1, but that's okay. And then I get to increase something, which will be green again. And he gets green and grey. Okay. So we're done. So your points are... How many bonuses did you get from completing columns of books? I think we each got 5 on that. Then, how far did your fella travel? Mine got to 3 cities, so that's 10. So it's 2 for the first, 5 if you got to 2, 10 if you got to all 3. Then influence left over. I just had 8 left over, so that's 2 points. I just had 20 left over. Then points on the cross. I get 2 points for that. Points on the chapel. I don't get any points for that. I didn't get to the scoring level. And then finally it's the books. So on blue, I've got 5. He's got 4, you've got 2. So I get 3 times the die value, which is 12. Bot gets second. He doesn't actually get points. But Rach gets third, which means she gets 1 times the die. Grey, Rach has surely got the most, which is going to be 5 times 3. Then Bot's got 3, I've got 3. Just need to... yeah, ties are broken by the chapel, so I've lost 5 points more essentially, because he's now second and I'm third on this, because I haven't really moved in the chapel and he's moved a fair way in there. He's all the way up there on 3 points. So I just get 1 times the die, which is 5. Then on pink, you've got 4, 3, 2, so you get 3 times. I get 2 times. He would get 1 times. On green, surely I've got the most, so I would get the 9. He's got last place. And then on red, I've got 5. He's got 4. You've got 4. So you would get last place because he's moved way further up the chapel than us.
He's only 1 further.
That's only worth 2 points. And so yeah, that's all your points. So 17, 23, 32, 38 on there. So I think... Well, we can't tell, can we? Because you wipe your score off after last time. I think that's just the same score that I got last time. I wouldn't be surprised if I just did exactly the same thing. I think I went all the way up grey last time. So Rach, what is it, 50? Is this the same that we got last night?
No, I got 51, I think.
Oh, did you?
No, 49 I got.
All right. So very, very close. Almost identical on the book points. Where did it come? Did it come down to my monk? Pretty much getting to the end of that. I got 4 in one go from one of those things. So that is the standard game of Biblios, Quill and Parchment. I keep wanting to say Roll and Write, because that's what it is. But there are other sides to the story.
Drop my pen lid somewhere.
What we can do is, if I just cross him out and zoom in, there are B-sides to all of the boards. Well, I think it's identical. Everyone uses the A's or everyone uses the B's. So the book values are now different. They're kind of the opposite, for the values of how the numbers started, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. Well, getting to the top is kind of inverted. So you get the most points for getting to the top of the one that at the start of the game is worth the fewest points. 7 points if you can get to the top of red. So that's changed. These values are changed. It's a point for every 3 influence rather than every 4, and it's 3 points for every mark on the cross. But now, instead of just travelling along these paths, you draw lines between squares for your movement. So you start down here, and the cities are strewn about along with all of these bonuses. The bonus now includes mark a spot off on the cross. You decide how you go in this. You have to draw, straight lines between the things, orthogonal lines. But you decide how far you move. You have to end on a bonus to earn it. But you're basically making a maze for yourself. And if you get to a point where you can't take monk movement anymore, tough luck. You're out of that particular thing because you don't get the bonus anymore. You don't get the abbot's mercy or whatever it's called if you can't do travel anymore, because basically it's your own fault if you can't do travel anymore because you were too greedy on getting the bonuses or whatever. You still get crosses for once on there, and if you get to the top of a colour and then take that colour again. So that's one thing that's different. And then on the cathedral board, the thing that is different on there is that the cathedral's different, so fewer points for getting all the way up here, and instead of just getting random books for getting to those levels, instead of just rolling a die for it, you now choose the same as if you'd rolled that single movement and a star. You still choose and mark that colour off, so you can't just keep choosing the same colour for racing up there. And the rows are all different. Not only are the dice in them aren't all the same anymore, and in fact these, you get fewer dice for bidding less. So probably a bigger incentive to try and get in the first 2 positions. And the bonuses are different, so you still get the embellishment die on the top. The reroll one of the book dice is now on the 2nd level. That is just all book dice, no travel. This, you just get a chapel movement. You don't adjust a die or anything like that. And this one, you get to move your... get to move your monk 1 to 3 steps? Just no matter what the dice said, you also get to do that, I think. That's the task card. Where's the B-side of the monastery? Move your novice 1 to 3 spaces as your special action. So rather than +1 and stuff. So I think, probably with both of them, this is probably, there is the easier mode of it, but it feels like maybe this is... We haven't tried it on these sides yet, but it feels like this is maybe the way that it wants you to go. Do you reckon, Rach? I think this is probably a more difficult puzzle for this. And, mind you, it's not that bad getting fewer dice, is it? Because these bonuses are quite beefy. Like, that chapel basically replaces one of the dice that you're not getting from it. So there we go. That is brand new, hot off the presses, Biblios, Quill and Parchment, and probably the fastest game that we've streamed so far. Take out the starting soon stuff. This is about 40 minutes. So there we go. Rach, what have you got to say for yourself?
Nothing.
You haven't said very much.
Everybody, I dropped the pen and it made a little speck on the tablecloth.
Yeah, Rach has ruined the...
I'll say that now.
Rach has spoiled the nice clean table. I don't know if the camera will even pick that up though.
It's not. If you just go to mine.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's a tiny little speck. It is washable, but is the cloth washable? I don't know. But now I'm in trouble.
This cloth is really expensive. But
That's what you get for asking me to come on.
There'll probably be a board over there. So, a nice mini rolling right. Oh, and the other thing as well, I don't know, I assume this was a Kickstarter extra or something, but there is a mini expansion in the chapel cards. So I believe this little Pope hat is for the person that is closest to the altar, so further up the cathedral, and then if there's a tie, closest to the left. There's basically a chapel card with all sorts of bonuses on it, and at the end of every round, the very last thing we do in every round, including phase 1 and phase 2, is we can bid influence, and whoever bids the most influence gets the bonus on the card and then spends it, just takes it, rubs out their total and makes it less. But nobody else spends any money on that. And you can bid 0 if you want, but a person can bid the same as you that's later in turn order and win the auction. as a little bit of a catch-up thing. So that's a little extra that, I don't know if it comes with every copy, but a little extra that you can throw in as a... Probably if you were playing with that as well, there's potentially more scope to get to the top of a couple of rows of books. But I think if you are luckier with your rolls, and if you're playing on the other side maybe, where you got to choose a bit more, like I always end up kind of diversifying loads and then hopefully end up with a decent amount of one colour. But it depends how the dice come out, doesn't it? So there we go with the gamey playthrough reaction. We do have plenty of roll and writes to do future mini roll and write streams, right? I should have brought some up just to show. So I got this nice little collection from NSV, who make all of the Quinto Quicks thing. They're trying out this new thing where they do these mini roll and writes where it's just basically a pad in a paper bag with a pencil and a die in it. And so if you get loads of them, you get more pencils, but you've probably got pencils. And just like a eco way, of like a small way, a packaging free way of doing roll and writes. That seems cool. But we haven't played the games yet. Possibly tonight to judge them. But there is Biblios, Quill and Parchment. So
thank you, Gaming Ninja. I had them done yesterday.
Hi, Gaming Ninja. What do you think about mine?
Yeah, my lovely nails.
Marty is doing some full-on lounging. I'm going to see if we'll make the camera big in a minute. So now, just before I adjust Marty, we are going to stick around if you would like to do a Q&A. We've never really done one where it's kind of combined straight after a playthrough. Maybe we should just signposted it as its own thing. But if you have any questions or anything like that, then we'll just have a chat and stick around for a little bit if you would like. And then, if not, we've got a lot of tidying up to do, really. Unfortunately, that's what we're putting off, really. We've got a game of Madara to finish because the scenario that we're playing expanded beyond the scope of what we were expecting, really. It's one of those, it happens a few times in Madara where you think, oh yeah, we'll get this scenario done, and then no spoilers, something happens, the scenario gets a lot bigger than you were expecting. And we had a lot of story to get through, didn't we, Rach?
There was a lot of story between chapters.
Vamp, Rach.
What do you mean, vamp? What does vamp mean?
Just play some piano
and
and stuff. Let's see how this works. Look how dirty that chair is.
It's not dirty, it's just covered in cat hair. He's not happy.
Well, he's been spun around a lot, isn't he? There he is. Because I think I made it. Oh, yeah, very bitey. He's not in tranquil multicam mode, is he? He's just going to roll himself off there. So I can't remember which angle it was. Was it this angle that makes us big? There it is.
And Marty in the middle.
And you can see Marty fighting with himself up at the top there. I wish he wouldn't do that. It's a nice chair. Oh yeah, we need to turn us off small down here as well. So I think that almost works, doesn't it? Just... I don't know if Marty needs to be made a bit smaller. Maybe I was probably further out when I was testing it. Yeah, if I sit there...
I'll hide behind Marty. That'll suit me.
Yeah, he goes behind that little gap in the chair and just starts clawing it while he's... See, I'm not there with my arm for him to bite now. So it's going to have to be his tail that suffers.
We're going to get the nail biting.
Oh dear, you don't need that. I really don't like when he does that. Just grabs a claw in his teeth and just pulls. So, yeah, don't disturb the tiger in him. He used to have a very, very distinct tiger belly when he was little. He's still got it, but it's just spread out more, isn't it? Because he's big.
He's a chubster.
Yeah, he's been on a diet for about 4 years now.
Yeah, he's just a chubster.
Just a lazy boy. And now he's positioned himself so he's like the smallest possible on the camera. How long have we been playing board games? Probably about when was it, Rach? Was it about 2014, 2013 or something? When we started playing games? I had a couple from
Possibly.
a long time before that. Well, not a long, probably like 5 years before that. I had Arkham Horror, the second edition one. I can't remember why I got it, but I went into a shop that we later used to go into loads and played in their game group and stuff. I just went into it on a whim one day and got like the World of Warcraft game, which I played and enjoyed. Nobody else that I played it with liked it. That was long and complicated, so I think that got sold in the end. And Arkham Horror probably went the same way, and they just kind of got stuck in a loft and stuff and forgotten about. And then we started watching. Was it Tabletop that kicked it off? I don't know why we would have started watching Tabletop either now. It's just something that came about.
Played Mansions of Madness or something.
But how would we have known about that?
I don't know.
Somehow, Tabletop came across. It was probably just recommended on YouTube or something. And we ended up watching a lot of that. It seemed fun. We got a load of those games. We didn't end up liking a lot of those games, but it kind of spurred us on to keep trying things. Although we did play a lot of things like Small World. Pandemic's probably the only thing that's really stuck around. What else did we have? Takenoko. I never really liked Takenoko very much. We had Quirkle. All of those kind of games. Ticket to Ride we still got. I wouldn't say we've played it. Really. I think we played it with my little brother. Got a much younger brother. We played a lot of Ticket to Ride with him.
Yeah.
At certain points. Before FIFA took over. But it's pretty much all of that. And then I started going crazy and buying all of this stuff. But it's not really. I don't know how much of this stuff behind us resembles like a lot of the old stuff. Like I've been trying to, like, when I do a top 10 and stuff, which there's a top 10 Uwe Rosenberg games coming up next week, when I edit those, I get like the old playthrough footage to play in the corner while I'm yapping away about it. I've seen some older videos because of all this. I keep seeing like the backdrop of stuff when it was the same way for years and years and years behind me, of all like Room Bound and just the same games. I found some old pictures as well. I don't know where my phone is. Well, you wouldn't be able to see them, so there's no point in me getting my phone. But of like before we even got Kallaxes or anything like that, when we just had some like bookshelves with them stacked up, strewn about everywhere. Some of the oldest games we used to have. There's kind of a big. I think I used to like put loads of stuff into BG Stats. I used to take photos of all the plays, and I kind of now, after I looked through those pictures the other day, thought like I wish I'd kept doing that, because it's like a little time capsule of a period of like a couple of years of all of those plays and the way our house looked then. But yeah, so about 7 years, something like that, maybe 8. But I'd say it's only been probably about 6, 7 years that it started getting extreme. When like I say I've gotten out of it, I've kind of gotten back into it a little bit lately. But there was a period of about a year or more where I was just buying games constantly. I wasn't doing any of this, so there was no reason for any of it beyond I just want to try all of these games. And then I got out of that eventually. A little bit, Rach?
A little bit.
Now there's a reason that there's games everywhere. Now they need videos. Hi, Paul. Paul's heading off shopping. What are you going to get, Paul? Are you going to get me something nice?
Jaffa cakes, obviously.
There's some, what did we have? Is it raspberry and passion fruit?
Yeah, pretend
No,
Jaffa cakes.
Is it peach and passion fruit? Jaffa cakes from
And then
M&S,
raspberry.
Paul. Some, not official Jaffa cakes, but they got some funky flavours at Marks and Spencer's. Other shops are available. Have we finished designing our Frosthaven scenario yet? Yes, we had to finish that. That was at the old house, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before
there was a big
Christmas.
because it's got to go through all of the playtesting and stuff, and Isaac's got to translate the stuff that we made up into, like, it's got to fit in with the story and stuff. It's got to flow as a good scenario. We finished all of the main design and stuff. Like, it was quite. I don't think he minds talking about. I'm not going to reveal any story stuff. Not that we really know any story stuff. I was given access to this kind of.
Yeah, we didn't go too far
This
into
special
it.
wiki where, like, if you want to really go into it and be spoiled on the Frosthaven stuff, so you can make something that will fit in with a certain point of it. You can do that, but we kind of dipped our toes in that. But we're really excited to play Frosthaven, so didn't want to spoil ourselves on much of it. So like we did some of that, made some stuff up, and then Isaac has suggestions based on that. Finished them off, and then I think some playtesting happened, and Isaac came back with, playtesters have been saying these things. What do you reckon about doing this and this? So yeah, it was really fun, really cool to be involved in it, and I think we're a long way off Frosthaven still, because like how Gloomhaven got much bigger than expected in the beginning, Frosthaven's done that as well now. So like I don't know when it's going to be, probably a year or more, maybe. I don't know. It's not imminent anyway, but it's going to be really exciting. It's really cool to still be involved in any of that, isn't it? Because it's like, it's my favourite game still. Rachel's was Medora, but after Rachel's dice rolls in Medora, I don't know if she's still a fan of it anymore.
I am. It's not the game's fault I can't roll dice.
Yeah, Rach mainly just rolls one.
Makes me pretty salty.
Which countries have we played games in? Not many. We haven't really been to many countries. We've played games in America. Probably only the first time we went to America. Well, we went to America 2 times. But the first time we made a special. Well, we made a special trip the second time, didn't we? We wanted to go and find what's that shop called? Is it Cool Stuff Inc. in Florida? Because we've only been to Florida as well. So we made
Germany. You've obviously played
in America. I'm talking about. So we got a couple of games in there and played them on our hotel floor. I saw some pictures of that as well, of us playing Star Trek Frontiers on the hotel floor. Star Trek Mage Night. So we played in America and then Germany. Yeah, we've both been to Essen. Rach can only go once because they won't let her back in again. Rach is a teacher, so she can only go when it's in half term, and it's only been in half term 1 year. Was that like 2017, 2018? Whenever it was. Yeah, it's not been half term before or since yet, but eventually when it falls on it again, yeah, straight back there, Rach. I don't know, because you're not as fussed, are you, about...
Yeah, I'll have work to do in the half term.
You like being there, but you've seen it now. So yeah, probably just England's America, and Germany, really.
Yeah, I haven't been anywhere.
I played a card game in Carcassonne once. It wasn't Carcassonne, though. I didn't know Carcassonne existed. Maybe it didn't back then. I don't think we played any games in Scotland. I was going to play games in Scotland.
We tried.
I was going to introduce someone to board games in Scotland, and then started describing Pandemic and SOS Titanic. And when the response was like, "Oh, that sounds really complicated," well, yeah, maybe we'll just play what you want. I don't think we ended up playing anything. So just a couple, I think. Hi, Michael. Like FIFA, have you got a favourite team? No. I used to like Aston Villa when I was little, but I think that's just because relatives of mine liked Aston Villa. And I liked Man United for a bit, but that's just because Man United were the best. Were like at the top of it. I don't think I ever really cared. There was a very brief period where I genuinely cared about football. It was like the World Cup, I think. World Cup 98, I think. Everyone was all hyped with Three Lions 98. Michael Owen missed something. I can't remember. That's the first and last time I genuinely cared.
I was a season ticket holder to Stoke City for many, many years. Forced upon me by my family. I don't like football. I've
been to Port Vale games as well, because that's the local team. That really, although I don't know, I don't think they're very good. I don't think they've ever been very good, really, comparatively.
No.
But geographically, that's like the closest team and the one that you meant to support. We used to get given tickets to them, so I've been to see them. So maybe they're my favourite team. The plucky underdogs. They'll make it one day.
Maybe.
So not really. The teams that I made up. I used to play Championship Manager a lot, even though I don't really care about football. It was a good game. I just don't know any of the people that were involved in it. I've got no connection to all of these things. I listen to Atletico Mints, which is kind of like a football-themed podcast, but it's just about daftness, really. I don't get any of the references of the people that they're talking about in any of it, really. Peter Schmeichel's still playing?
No.
I bet he is. I bet he's still goalkeeping something. Which game is most valuable for you? Not in monetary value, but of affection value. I think for monetary value, it's probably something like Dominion, because it's got like 1 million expansions for it at this point.
Yeah, we've got everyone.
Yeah, heavy boxes. But in terms of affection value, I don't know. For like affection value, you can't really see them in. I think I cut the camera off. Can I adjust? I know that isn't the right camera to be moving. Is it this one? Can I move the camera down a little bit? So I think the camera cuts it off. You can see just the top of our shelves here when you can see the kind of extremes. I think where Rach is sitting as well, she's getting the extreme kind of funky lens of the camera. So if can I turn Marty off for a sec? You can see our big games up there. These games are the ones that I've got a lot of affection for. The ones that I've kept forever, really. I've had them since I was very little.
Supermarket Sweep, I would say, is the
Supermarket Sweep. I made a playthrough for Supermarket Sweep as well, which you can watch. I did that for the very first anniversary of the channel.
And it's got a cameo from a very important member of the board gaming community.
Yeah, that's like our first collaboration. But yeah, Supermarket Sweep is all of these board games in that little section that I can't seem to get my hand to point to. They're all like my childhood board games that. Like loads of them. I had a load more than that because I was really into that type of board games always. And then the period where you're not, and you didn't realise that board games were being made anywhere, and you realised that they've been being made this entire time while you've not been paying any attention. But yeah, like Payday, I still think is kind of for all of them. They are just kind of roll and move random things, aren't they? Like a lot of these games. It was near the start of lockdown, we played Game of Life over Tabletop Simulator, like standard Game of Life rules, and it was awful. That one we haven't tried. That's like electronic.
I don't think I got halfway around the map.
Yeah. That's like electronic Game of Life with credit cards and stuff. I remember that being good, but I was like 12 or something. Play Your Cards Right we've looked through, which is like I don't know if there was a US equivalent like there is of a lot of our game shows. Like there is an American Supermarket Sweep, isn't there? Like Play Your Cards Right was basically there was a little quiz element, and then the card game of it. Steve, the one above Simpson 3D Chess is Play Your Cards Right, which I don't think I can get a browser to come up. Let me see if I can.
It's got old Brucey on it.
I won't show you the video for DMCA stuff. Check it out on YouTube. An episode of Play Your Cards Right. But if I can get like the actual board for it, the game is basically like higher or lower, like a card game of
like a deck of cards, and you've got to guess, is the next one higher or lower than the one showing?
Why are these pictures not coming up? I want to see these pictures. Can I make this come up on the screen? I don't think so. Firefox open. Firefox, Play Your Cards Right. There we go. There you go. That's like a knockoff Play Your Cards Right. It's covering up Rach at the moment. I'm sorry, Rach. But it's just like you get like a 6. Is it higher or lower than a 6? And then you flip it over. If you were right, you get to keep going, and if you go far enough, you get some prizes. That's a game show. But like, as horrible as it sounds, I really loved that game show as well. It's like the board game of that, but it's made in the 80s, I want to say. The questions were probably all written in the 80s, and we flicked through it when I got it. Because that was one of the ideas that I was thinking of for some kind of special at some point that never materialised, like a lot of them. The Supermarket Sweep one actually got made and finished and stuff. But the Play Your Cards Right one was an idea that I'd had, and then when we got it, we flicked through the rulebook, and there are some very questionable questions in there relating to like mainly sexism, wasn't it? I don't remember it being anything completely heinous, but some fairly sexist questions in there. But it's about 40 years old, isn't it? So yeah, those games I'm most affectionate towards, probably. For like modern ones that we've got, there's some that we've still got around that I think I should probably sell. Like Rampage. I don't think that was on tabletop. I'm pretty sure, was it? I don't think it was. I can't remember. It's a game where you like have dinosaurs and you flick them about and you're trying to destroy buildings and meeples and stuff. It's not in here.
I think that's mine. You bought it for me because I liked the game Rampage, the video game.
Yeah, it's something we were looking out for and it wasn't coming out for some reason at the time. But yeah, that I'm kind of affectionate towards some of those games. I have gotten rid of some. Like I didn't think I was going to get rid of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition because I was quite affectionate towards that. Because I wouldn't really want to play the game, but it being like, oh, this is like one of the first ones I ever bought. But space kind of squashes some of that affection at a certain point when there's just games everywhere. Like there kind of is again at this point. Got to be cruel to be kind with some of these things. The Amazing Labyrinth. Oh yeah, I think is it Ravensburger Labyrinth? I think we've seen that a bit. Maybe it's a similar game. I think we've seen My First Labyrinth.
Yeah,
as
maybe.
Well.
Waterstones.
Yeah, Simpsons 3D Chess I used to play a lot as well, but I don't think I've played chess for
but you never forget the rules of chess.
Long time. Don't you, Rach?
They're right in my mind.
Shall we do a live playthrough of chess right now?
Not. I've got no tactics.
I haven't.
I can take that.
Rach, what are other hobbies that you like?
Well, play video games, but not all video games. Like Final Fantasy. Does Final Fantasy count as a hobby?
I think so.
Playing those games. I'm
zooming in on the essential Marty. When he moves, this isn't going to work.
He's pricking up. Yeah, like play some video, like RPGs or JRPGs. Like to do a little bit of reading.
Like animes.
Like colouring sometimes. I go through phases of that.
You like It Girl?
What's that?
That TV show.
I don't.
It Girl.
I don't know what that is.
With the girl from Yes Man in it. It Girl.
What are you on about?
With Zoe Deschanel in it. You like TV,
The
don't you?
new girl.
It Girl.
Yeah, I watch TV, but I watch things on Netflix, but there tends to just be something on in the background while I'm working.
You binge, don't you?
I do binge. So I'm not very interesting.
What hobbies would you have? You walk sometimes. What's this? Oh, that's the microphone thing. I wondered what that thing was next to my head. Can I put it there? There we go. Because I've moved this camera around now, haven't I? Yeah, Game of Life was surprisingly awful, and that's with like we've played. What was that night where we played old games? Did we? I think we played Payday. It's years ago now. We played Payday and a DVD version of Atmosphere.
That was good fun.
Like I think in America it was called Nightmare. Like it's basically it was when I was little, it was a VHS game. So you played, I think, a bit of a standard roll and movie board game, but there was a tape on in the background with the gatekeeper on it, and every now and then he would have a message for you, and like, you with the dice, you do this. The person that's number such and such.
Yeah, we played like a version with a DVD, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we had to do that in the DVD as well. You had to say, yes, my gatekeeper and stuff, or you would get a penalty. And yeah, we played a DVD version. I remember that they had put restrictions on the DVD that you couldn't pause it, and we had like a takeaway
came in the middle of a video.
Sorry, gatekeeper, we've got food to get. But yeah, that was kind of. I think those ones are kind of still. They've got like a fun element to them, whereas the Game of Life was surprisingly miserable. And what else do we played like a modern Game of Life?
We played that VIP edition.
Yeah, it was like VIP or Celebrity Edition or something. We played quite a recent one because my brother had got it one Christmas a couple of years ago, and that was a pretty annoying experience as well. Game of Life hasn't really come very far. There's a TV show called Lingo, in Norway. It's like bingo.
Wow.
I'm pretty
that sounds
sure
amazing.
at this point we've probably got some kind of game show where it's just bingo. We've got a game show where it's like the 2p machines at an arcade.
Oh, Tipping Point, that's called. Look it up on YouTube. That's amazing.
It's as terrible as these seem. Play your cards right. Just laid out is a terrible idea. But it worked. We used to have darts as a game show. Yeah, I don't think... When I finally managed to sell a couple of games or just give away a couple of games, 5 seem to arrive.
Yeah, Monica,
at the same day.
It's really frustrating that Tom makes an effort to get rid of, to sort of thin his collection out a little bit. And then suddenly 3 boxes full of games arrive within a week because he's acquired new games.
This week's been an exciting arrival week.
Every day.
Well, we've got a lot to get through.
Next time we move house, we're going to need to buy a mansion.
Yeah, we've got a lot arriving this week, but that's just like, I feel like, well, it's already halfway through the month, isn't it? I always feel like, I want to do an extra like coming up video because we've had all these exciting things arrive, but I should probably wait until May's. Maybe I should do like just one for patrons or something like that as like an addendum, a little stream of some of these games, because a load of them are like, oh, all of these little roll and write games, but then we've got like a load of new stuff for Cloudspire. There's going to be a Cloudspire stream next week if you are interested in Cloudspire, or like me, if you need another little push to try and get it to click in your mind, because I've never managed to. I've tried, I've enjoyed it, but still don't feel like I'm there. But yeah, it's Cloudspire stuff coming. What else has arrived? Switch and Signal, a new game from Cosmos, a cooperative train game.
Yet another train game.
I got Architects of the West Kingdom to complete the trilogy. You can see it in the background there. There it is. But the third one's on the floor by Range. It's like, yeah, and then I've realised there's an expansion for that. Oh, I want to play all of it. Mainly get them for solo though. I now think, after questioning it for years since that game has come out, about whether it would be too mean, now I've played it, I think, yes, it is too mean. There you go. There's Marty's orange belly. You switched to full-on Marty cam for a sec. There you go, we can be in the corner there. Yeah, that is proper sunbathing. That's proper sunbathing, Marty. I won't try and spin him round, because he will definitely get straight out of that pose.
At me. Hey.
There you go. There's the remnants of that spotty belly that he used to have. He used to have just a orange belly, didn't he?
Mm.
Just orange with
We'll have to find a little kitten picture of him. We've still got kitten pictures of him. He was very, very cute.
He did look properly like a Bengal cat, didn't he?
Yeah.
On his belly when he was new. He was doing his little pause thing.
Now I would love to give him a belly rub, but if you even dare to belly rub, he's going to pounce.
I don't know, sometimes you can get away with, especially if you do it like higher up on his chest, he kind of puts up with it for quite a while and just purrs. But I'd say 90% of the time he's just tempting you in so he can start playing, which
he is watching us.
Which is grabbing and biting. Well, you can see that ear swiveling around to listen to all of it. What was the other camera angle? There it is. I'll turn Little Us off. Christmas Labyrinth now. Oh, Steve, you got hooked on Taskmaster. How many have you watched now? Oh, everyone should be hooked on Taskmaster. It's especially, like, I don't know, all of the series, really. It's a fantastic TV show.
Series the best. 5 is the best, though.
Yeah. I think there's... But it's probably got like something to do with us watching series at the time and watching series more times and stuff, because there wasn't very many. I started watching it when Series 5 was on because I really like Vic and Bob, so I'll watch anything that they're on, really. Bob Mortimer was on it. I got hooked from that, got Rachel into it. It's fantastic. Just a load of comedians, and then later on more like presenters or actors come on it. It's like 5 British comedians get set silly tasks like paint a horse while riding a horse, eat as much watermelon as you can in a minute. What's another task that they got? Make this potato look as much like a businessman as possible. Just silly things like that, and most of the time they're encouraged to be creative and stuff with their solutions to these bizarre problems. It's really funny. It's the best. I can't really think. I think that in England especially, we're a bit rubbish at making television, especially comedy. But Taskmaster is a massive exception to that. It's absolutely fantastic. Just good, daft fun.
It's good.
It's got some amazing comedians on it as well. As well as the loads that I hadn't heard of that I quite like now. But yeah, how many series have you watched of Taskmaster now, Steve? We're trying to spread it to as many people as possible. Finally got my sister to start watching it. I don't know how far she's got. Yeah, I think my collection started hovering at about 300. I don't update it anymore because it just keeps getting out of hand all the time. But I think when we moved especially, I did get rid of a big chunk of them. But I think it's probably crept back up to that. Including expansions and stuff, it's probably crept right back up to that. So I'll have to cut down on some soon again. But some of that is just more arrived than I can make videos of. And a lot of them, like Cloud Spire, I've had for like a year and a half nearly. In a month it'll be a year and a half I've had that game, waiting for a video. But I've just, yeah, it's going to happen on next week, next Friday, I think. But yeah, sometimes stuff gets in the way, and I don't want to just not do a video. So, as well as me wanting to get all of the new games and try everything, there's all of these games that I want to make videos for that are hanging about as well. What can you do? Play more games, Rich. Play more games, film more games. Simon, hi Simon. Bullseye was, yeah, but Bullseye is, and again, if you've never seen Bullseye, especially if you're not of a certain age in English, then have a watch of Bullseye. It is bizarre how stilted TV used to be, like for how kind of over smooth it is now, and just far too slick and fake.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of Limmy, that is also someone I think is definitely worth checking out. A Scottish comedian that is a streamer and has watched episodes of 321. That's a quiz show that is way before my time. I think it stopped in the 80s or something. Just a bizarre quiz show full of clues that don't make any sense whatsoever, and he watches those through and makes fun of them a bit. But yeah, it's bizarre, like how in the 70s and 80s, I don't know if it's like this in other countries as well, but when you look back at these like kind of variety shows and live shows of the 70s and 80s, you did not have to be very funny to be a comedian on them. You didn't really have to have any jokes, and just the presenters can't make small talk with the people and stuff. It's bizarre how stilted and wrong it is. But it's probably because like they aren't really editing the shows either. Like now everything's kind of ultra edited, isn't it, to be just like snappy. There's no gaps between sentences or anything. But TV then was probably just recorded live as it happened. And so if the presenter can't think of anything to say to someone, that awkward silence is just preserved forever. But yeah, I'd have a watch of some Bullseye or some 321 if you haven't seen them. There's loads of them on YouTube, and it's bizarre how things used to be here, but kind of nicer in a way. Favorite solo only game? Oh, solo only. I don't know what I've got of solo only apart from Under Falling Skies. Springs to mind straight away as a fantastic one. What is just, I can't get off Play Your Cards right now. What if can I make that browser come up? Oh, you can see the dolly birds. There's Alan Carr doing some Play Your Cards right for some reason. Can I make this go to Board Game Geek? See all my geek mail and stuff. I'm not going to be able to do this, am I? I'll have to set this up better in the future. Solo only games have I got, Rach? Because I think about things like Mage Knight that I really like playing, but that's not solo only.
What else have I got? What's that Honor Him?
But I think they are also games where you
and Hostage Negotiator.
Hostage Negotiator, yeah. I think Honor Him is one that is like solo, but you can play it cooperatively with more people. Yeah, probably Hostage Negotiator for a solo only one, I think. But Under Falling Skies is potentially going to overtake that because it's fantastic. Love Cloud Spire. The North Sea trilogy. We've played Raiders. But I'd be interested in trying out that, especially the solo stuff now, because I think the solos for all of the West Kingdom games are really, really well done. It sounds like Kongen Befaller, King Commands in Norwegian TV. It potentially could be the same thing, you know, because Taskmaster has been sold all over the world. They've got versions everywhere. I've seen the English version, of course, absolutely fantastic. The American version is awful, and it's surprising how well. It's not really surprising. Loads of shows have been remade, tried to tailor them like badly, and it just doesn't work. They crammed it, made it really short, cut it all up. Not very good. But the New Zealand version that was on kind of last Christmas, I think, we watched the New Zealand version, and we've got no context for any of these people whatsoever, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like really creative tasks, really funny contestants on there. It's a fantastic series. But yeah, it could potentially just be the Norwegian version of Taskmaster. Steve watched most of the first season, so especially all of the first 5, I think. Cracking seasons. Not that there haven't been any great ones since, but yeah, 5's just always my favourite. I started with Magic the Gathering in 1999. Oh, I did play a bit of Magic the Gathering actually, probably around like the time I got Arkham Horror and stuff, about 2008 or something. But yeah, that's probably, isn't that about the time? I think that's about the time that Paul Grogan got into games through Did he get through Magic, or was that Tony Boydell? I don't know. A lot of people are coming through Magic though as well, haven't they? And that's still getting like a big resurgence now. Hi, Linda. Rach.
Hi, Linda.
Often mentioned. You haven't been on here for a long time.
No.
Thank you.
Have to be coaxed.
Finally, I've gotten rid of those long.
You wanted to keep that long hair.
Eventually, I'll go back to having my great big long hair at some point. It just if you've deliberately grown your hair though, it can look all right. But if you've gotten it was just this haircut left to grow for like 6 months, so all at the back and everything, it's just wrong lengths and stuff. I'm much happier with it. Not weighing my head down now though. Lemmy is fantastic, and yeah, I don't think outside of there's a clip. It's a meme at this point, but the clip of if you've never heard of Limmy, I encourage you to check out Steel is Heavier Than Feathers on YouTube, a quick sketch of Limmy's, because yeah, I don't remember Limmy's show ever happening. I don't remember hearing about it. I used to see him on Charlie Brooker. He used to be on a couple of series of that, but I didn't know he had a sketch show and stuff, and just watched bits of that later, and then we watched it together, didn't we, a few months ago. Watched through it all. The great sketch show. But yeah, not really. Like now he's on the internet and you can see him anywhere.
Streams
but before
on
then,
Twitch as well.
Before then, yeah, didn't really get shown outside BBC Scotland, which is strange and sad. Stelkin Gunderson is a super funny comedy bit that I feel will never grow old. I haven't heard of that. What's that like? Under Falling Skies, yes. Proving Grounds is great. I want to play the second one in that series as well. Is it Warp's Edge? I don't think it's not from Kane Klenko, but yeah, there's another one in that solo series I'd like to try now. Coffee Roast is absolutely fantastic. Okay, So You've Been Eaten. I think I played a version of that at Essen. Yeah, I did. I played a version of that. It was pretty cool. And then we looked at it's got loads of AI in it, and you can play a bit of a silly mode where you just put the AIs playing against each other. Got a lot of slow TV in the summer, ferry trip and train trip minute by minute, and roast minute by minute. Are these on like main channels? Like we do have some pretty terrible TV, but it's kind of all of a formula, isn't it? It's reality TV usually. Reality TV,
Or
soaps.
Emmerdale.
That's pretty much English TV.
EastEnders.
That's pretty much what they put on here now. But we've got American comedies, and we've got comedies of the past.
That's why I stick to
look
streaming.
Yeah. Try and get hold of the good American shows. We've actually, Impractical Jokers came back, didn't it? And we've only watched one episode of that. There's probably quite a few stocked up. Impractical Jokers as well. You haven't tried that out? I don't know if it'll be your cup of tea, but that as well, especially for a certain period was like the best thing on TV, wasn't it? Just a really cool, different thing. And now it just seems like Taskmaster, it feels at this point like it's always been around, rather than it being this like new, exciting thing. Just like, yeah, that's just part of the TV that gets made. And getting translated into other countries, Taskmaster UK. Oh no, not Taskmaster UK. Impractical Jokers UK. Didn't really work out. Oh, it's a comedian playing a boxer. All right. Yeah, I don't think outside Taskmaster, really, I don't know that there's anything that we particularly watched that's on in England. I know that Alan Partridge is back at the end of the month. That'll be in a couple of weeks now. What do you think about that, Rach? Same series as before?
Where is the news reader?
Yeah, he's on like a parody of The One Show. Be excited for that?
Yeah.
It's just nice to have more Alan Partridge, isn't it? But I think we can't put off the tidying up and all of that stuff anymore. I think we've caught up with all of the questions and stuff. And someone has an emergency last minute one that we can answer. We'll be back for more now. Now all of this kind of gear is set up and we know how Rach has got a mic and stuff. I don't know how much time
I don't think anyone can hear me, so...
Yeah, they can hear you.
No, I think I'll have to just give up.
I don't know how much time Rachel have to appear in playthroughs outside holiday time, because this is the end of the Easter holidays in England right now, or where we are in England. I don't know for the entire of it, but yeah, outside the holidays, I don't know how much Rachel will be able to be here, but be able to be here when we'll try and do Q&As every month now, because it's probably been about a year again since we did the last one. But now we're all sorted. We've got a room. It kind of looks vaguely tidy behind us. Got all games and stuff. You can't quite see the messy shelves. It looks like it's a really tidy room. It can't be a tidy room. There's wires everywhere making all of this happen. But yeah, there'll be more stuff, basically. There'll be more live things next week. I'm not quite sure what yet. Cloud Spy's one of them. I don't know what else there will be there. And there'll be the top 10 of Uwe Rosenberg. If you're a patron, by the way, patreon.com/slickerdrips. If you'd like to help me keep making things, vote on the videos, have a say in what I do and all of that stuff during the Discord, I'm going to press the button again for it to tell you about it. Yeah, any support there would be massively appreciated. And you can watch the Uwe Rosenberg video now on there if you would like, as well as more playthroughs. There'll be one for Maracaibo coming up some point soon when that gets edited. We have loads of stuff coming up. It's the 5th anniversary of the channel the week after next, so there'll be stuff for that. Hopefully as much as I can find time for. Try and make that a special week somehow. If there's games that you want to see, let me know. I'll try and make them happen. I'm everywhere. I'm not on social media that much, but if you mention me, then it tells me, and I'll be there.
Or if you're a Patreon, join the Discord.
Yeah, there's a Discord where you can tell me. You can message me on Patreon.
Need more chit chats on there.
You can message me on BGG. Yeah, Rach. You can chat with Rach on Discord. The Discord is mainly pet pictures, but at the moment, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's taken a really great turn, I think. Oh yeah, QI. Yeah, I haven't really watched it as very much since Stephen Fry left, but I watched a ton of. I don't think I'd really watched it in the last few years of Stephen Fry hosting it, actually. But QI at a certain point was fantastic. I'm in an episode of QI. Watch all of them and find me in it. You've seen me in the episode of QI, haven't you? I could only find in a clip on the internet. They're all on DVD and stuff, so I don't know why it's such terrible quality. I found such a terrible quality bit of the. I'm not a contestant or anything, obviously, but yeah, I found the little section that I'm in, and it's so grainy and pixely, the video that I found. But I'm in it. Jose, hi Jose. Thank you for joining up to the Patreon as well. Picked your first Lacerda game. Which one did you get? But I am excited that you are getting into the Lacerda sphere. It's one of the best bits in board gaming. I wonder if you're a preschool teacher. Yeah, right. Rich, got to find time around all of that to be in stuff. I mean, you didn't have as much time to get in before we had all lockdown and craziness, so that's made it worse on top of all of the standard stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But hopefully that keeps easing off at some point. Maybe. In the holidays, though, we'll find some playthroughs to do. Do some more of Rachel's favourites that people generally aren't as bothered about seeing. But it's all about the love of the game, really.
It's because I don't know. I hold more love for older games than the newer games that have come out.
I think we before I was filming any of this stuff, we would have played the games more as well. We would have repeated the games, I think, and like certain games like Queen's Architect were just fantastic as well. Where am I? Yeah, Stephen Fry era was the best. I started with the Gallerist. That's a great one to start with, I think. Easier one to get your head around. I wouldn't start with like On Mars or Old Vinos or something like that. Gallerist is a cracker. Watch my video to find out my my sneaky reputation thing. There are loads of ways around the Gallerist. That's just what I like to do. I like to get a load of reputation and just use that for all of my money and stuff. Right, I think we should stop there while Marty...
We'll end it with a little scratch on the belly, shall we?
Yeah, let's see what the reaction's going to be to a nice little scratch on the belly. Already, he's perked up and paranoid. See if he'll have a little stroke. Nope, straight to biting. Will not have a little stroke.
Look at that.
Just all this time, he's just been lying in wait to do that.
He's waiting.
So there we go. Oh, big stretch. So there we go. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed Biblios. Hope you enjoyed having a little chat. We will do another one of these as soon as we can, really. We'll try and make like Q&A's a monthly thing, but I'm going to do live things more regularly now. I've been doing them for the last few weeks. I'm going to try and make sure I can do at least a couple of live things every week, and you can come and hang out and chat in there as well and tell me what I should be doing in these games that I'm losing at. But hey, I'll win at some. I did well at the Gallerist. Rach, your head's being cut off.
It's okay.
By cleaning Marty. Thank you for joining us for this, though. Hope you join us for other live things in the future. Patreon, subscribe, like the video, comment on the video if you're watching it back later. YouTube likes it when you do that and tells other people about the video and the channel and stuff. Thank you for being here, though, and we will see you very, very soon. Looking over for the buttons. Bye, everyone.